Welcome to Pitch the Tide Live. This is a restaurant technology showcase show that we do every single Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. London time, wherever you are in the world. We are streaming on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. We appreciate you. We want you to be a part of this conversation. If you have a restaurant technology brand, if you service the restaurant industry, we want to have you on the show. You can email us at podcast@calibbq.media. We do this show twice a week, but this specific show, this Friday show, is brand new. So this is our second guest. It is a part of our Rising Tides community. His name is Jason Berkowitz. He needs no introduction, but today we're going to learn about Arrow Up Training and its mission to help the restaurant industry. Jason Berkowitz, let's bring him on stage. Round of applause.
Round of applause. If you can't applaud yourself,
you
got to be your number one fan.
Jason, welcome to the show. I think the floor is yours. I don't think you need to see me anymore. We're going to give you 10 minutes to pitch the tide. So we have our community members. We're going to start bringing them up. And we want to hear story time with Jason Berkowitz. What is Arrow Up Training and what is the mission? What do you believe in? Go for it.
Love it. All right. Slides up. It's funny. We talk every week here, and I'm a little bit nervous on this, which is exciting. I love what you're doing with Pitch the Tide. My name's Jason Berkowitz. I'm the founder of Arrow Up, and we help restaurants build safer and stronger teams. But before we talk about that, we're going to do a little backstory and kick it over to the next slide. And we got our man Mike on the back there working the ones and twos. So we appreciate Mike running the show. So I'm a longtime restaurant operator and partner. I started off at Burger King at 14. My mom had a clothing store across the street and I was obsessed. It's those Whoppers, man. And I went in, and after many attempts, they finally let me have a job. It was fun. The guy was like, "Why do you want to work here so bad?" I'm like, "The vibe. I love the vibe. I love what's going on." So at 14, we got a work order, and I was able to do that. And I immediately jumped to the kitchen and challenged everyone to, as the King Whopper Topper, which I self-proclaimed, right? Self-applause, self-proclaimed, King Whopper Topper. And that's where I learned how to work cleaner and faster. But I also quickly learned that I was more of an FOH person, and they pushed me on over to the front of house. And I really learned and loved where service and hospitality and training really came together. Carried a long arc up to a wonderful full career in restaurants, all the way up to COO and partner. And along the way, I learned that everyone wants to know two things. What's my job and how am I doing? Right? And so what's my job is in training, really setting expectations and delivering them. How am I doing is in the feedback loop. That could be in conversations and checklists and accountability tracking. But really, it's so important to answer those two questions for every new team member. And I believed it so much that once I jumped from GM to corporate, no matter what new job I had, and there were only a few, but from director of service to VP of ops to chief operating officer, I would come in, and for the first 2 weeks to a month, if I could take that time, I said, nobody talk to me. I'm not even opening up the emails. I am not being reactive at all, because I'm going to focus on putting training and SOPs together. Because I knew the second that I focused on what was urgent as the lead operator, I can no longer take care of what I felt was important, which then would always become urgent. And it worked, right? And so I would come in and I would kick off and put a whole training program together. Then we were about 6.5 years ago, around, or 7 years ago this month, we were securing a $20 million loan for a company, and I'm in the boardroom and I'm doodling, right? Time to burn, time to learn, and all these different sayings. And I was like, you know what? I got to go start a training company. Let's kick it on over, Mike. And so we started Arrow Up, and with the core focus to protect your restaurant from lawsuits, compliance fines, and turnover. And we do that through our online courses of safety, harassment, and leadership training where we help develop supervisors into leaders. Because your supervisors are the bridge between your expectation and what gets executed. And one of the big differentiators of Arrow Up is that our courses are custom built for restaurants, by operators, for operators. And we're really focused on slashing risk, cutting insurance costs, and really making that compliance less painful. And these are some of the brands that we work with. And I love it. We do everything from mom and pop shops all the way up to 1,000 locations. Um, Domino's, which is a fun one, we just literally became approved as a preferred vendor for the Domino's Franchise Association. But all these are places I love to go to. And Mike, let's kick it on over. And I'm going to talk about some stats about why I wanted to start there, right? Because compliance really wasn't sexy, but the impact that it has and how it protects people and businesses to me is everything. And here are some real hard hitting stats. 49% of employees leave because of their manager. And at an average cost of, 58.50 per year, that's huge. Average harassment settlement costs between $75 and $125,000. You got your average PAGA, which is a California thing, a Private Attorneys General Act. But these lawyers are taking advantage of this loophole and suing these companies at 1.1 million on average. And we make training that helps lower those penalties by 85%. We know the training increases sales and productivity. Here's a crazy one. $16 billion is spent annually on food and beverage worker comp claims just in the United States, just in the food and beverage industry. And OSHA has proven that a comprehensive plan can lower that by 25%. Now, what's interesting about the insurance company is in restaurants, a lot of people say sales cures all. Build your revenue, you hide a lot of problems. Well, insurance, if you're writing this paper and this is an unsafe business, they go under. So there's a real opportunity to work together. Engaged teams are 41% lower absenteeism. And we know what happens. Somebody doesn't show up. Somebody else has to pick up the slack. The worst shifts I've ever worked are the ones where somebody else didn't show up. And that's when you're in the weeds, not in a good way. So we really wanted to focus on this. And then a big one at the end that I absolutely loved is that supervisors are asking for this training. And so you've got to meet this moment and you have to develop these leaders who are learning how to be stronger leaders, who are learning how to have awkward conversations with their friends because they need more than just a pair of keys and the ability to comp food just because they were people who were responsible and showed up. And I know that, and that was me. And that's why I wanted to kind of build this into the training. Mike, let's kick it on over. We're going to talk a little bit about what we focus on. And so our core focus is in the onboarding training. That is our core focus, right? Anti-harassment. You see the courses listed there. But what's different is there's myself, who's a longtime operator, and our chief content creator comes from the commercial world. And so we've realized how to really create this minimum effective dose that we talk about. How do you take legal speak and all this stuff and really relate it to restaurant speak, right? And we do this through a mixed media of podcasts and memes, and we got Elizabeth who loves GIFs on here, and the short form media that really matters. But what lands and is a part of this community that we talk about are storytelling. And we really came out of the gates capturing people's stories. And that had me thinking this week. I did a post about something that I didn't even think about, years ago when we were building these courses, was when I was a first time front of house manager for a fine dining restaurant. And the sous chef would come out every morning and he would pull out his flip phone, and he would show me these awkward, uncomfortable, disgusting videos and images. And, some of them were funny, right? And a lot of them were just disgusting. And they were there to actually make me feel uncomfortable. And it was a power play. And I gave him all the power because if you've been in this game, that front of house, if back of house likes you, your life is a lot easier than if back of house doesn't like you. And so capturing these stories and being able to share them and really train this to your team does a few things. And what's interesting is this, California, New York, a lot of these people require this training. So we cover it. But some of our biggest clients are in states that don't require it, Texas, Arizona, all these other places, because they realize and recognize what I'm saying is, number one, Let's set the expectation of the company. So you've got this sous chef, right? There was no opportunity where somebody was like, hey, this is just not acceptable. It's not cool. Don't do it. These are the rules. So first and foremost, lay it out. And don't lay it out like a hall monitor, right? That's not how we roll. Number two, have some stories that actually show this individual, this is how somebody else feels. We've captured stories of people who are like, look, this is how I felt. Is that really how you wanted to make me to feel? So a lot of people just don't know. Like, we attract misfits in this industry, and I absolutely love it, and I'm one of them. So let's just give them an opportunity to see from somebody's perspective how that's making them feel, especially if we're talking about the gray area, because there's black and white. And that was my today's post on LinkedIn, which is like, of course, quid pro quo is black and white, but there's just a lot of gray areas. So we got to talk about it and we got to tell stories. And then the third is, let's empower the team with ways to navigate and get out of it, right? If I had the tool to be able to say, look, man, you got to come up with something better. That's not funny. Make something funny. Like show me tomorrow something that's not disgusting but going to crack me up, right? How do we redirect? How do we help each other? And I love when I get these calls from leaders who are like, I watched it in action, because this is going on. It's like surviving the playground in restaurants, and we're all working together. Now, currently, we distribute our courses in three ways. So if you're looking for this training and you're looking to protect your team, you can either go through us directly, where we license the courses on our platform, or we license through third-party partnerships in their marketplace, which is awesome. Um, and I get to see through that what's really growing, like leadership development. People started with compliance, but to watch people really invest in these 18-year-old supervisors is amazing. And the third way is people will ask us for the courses, and we'll license it to them, and they will host it on their own platform. Because to me, it's about no friction. I know this is tech talk, but we're a platform. We want zero friction. We want to help support the culture. And so that's how we do it. We price per course, and we do an all you can eat model as well, which people really love. Now that's our current model, and we will always continue to do that. And I'm excited to say we just signed on Din Tai Fung yesterday, a fantastic customer and client. And I absolutely love working with these companies that we love to dine at, especially because the first thing we do is we go and we eat there as a team. So that's fun. And it's just this great to see everyone getting into it, and referrals where you have the head of MENA group calling the head of them saying, you just got to go with them. Now, with little time that I have left, let's kick it on over. I'm going to show you some examples real quick of where we're moving towards. Micro learning is a way that we've absolutely been winning, because you've got, as we talked about, long form courses, but the future, minimum effective dosing, constant gentle pressure. That CGP is for constant gentle pressure. Mike, we're going to go through the next one. Going to run through these next couple fast, right? Just little things to show people how to do it. This is cool because this is from Dave's Hot Chicken. We get hired for some custom content as well if you're looking for it. One final one here, Mike, where we've got, right, just a little thing that pops up in people's, maybe when they sign in, we work with them, maybe inside of our app, just little ways to remind somebody that constant, gentle pressure in a cool graphics package. That's what we're doing. Now, I'm just going to quickly take the rest of the time I have to talk about the future. Let's jump to the next slide. I talked about how everyone wants to know two things. What's my job and how am I doing? Well, the future of Arrow Up, that we've been having a lot of fun because I've built standard operating procedures for so many companies, is we are focusing with the managers and helping them answer these three questions. What do I do next? How do I do it? And what's a feedback loop to show that it's done? Because this is where we're moving the needle with out of the box standard operating procedures while covering your compliance. So our all-in-one toolkit protects your team and is helping managers understand what they need to do. Last week, we talked about, when do they actually know it's time to change the ice filter? Why is that so important? Because by focusing on that, the machine doesn't go down. You don't have service interruptions. You don't have a manager that has to come in at 6 a.m. to meet the repair person, which means they're not exhausted, which means they're present with their team. We're taking a holistic approach at Arrow Up and focusing on the things that move the needle. One more slide, Mike. All of this is culminating to, and on the far right, you're seeing your score. And this is the final piece we're going to talk about. We've talked about we completely deliver courses. We're here, any platform that you need it. But as you start to work with us in the future, we are helping you make you safer and stronger, and we're moving the needles by developing your supervisors into leaders. And all of that, as we're tracking it, creates a score, an accountability, and a safety score. With your permission, we are sharing with insurance companies, whether you'd like to use the data or not, to help insurance companies who, remember, they make their money by placing bets on restaurants who are safe. We are partnering up, and they are incentivizing you by discounting companies even beyond what our monthly costs are. And at Arrow Up, we genuinely believe that the good operators should partner with the right vendors and the insurance companies who want to reward safe behavior, because that is the holistic ecosystem that allows us to support the good operators who build safer and stronger teams and financially reward the players that have skin in the game. Last slide. And there, I thank you for your time to be able to talk about Arrow Up, where we build safer and stronger teams. One of our fun slogans, come for the compliance, stay for the vibe. There you go. And there I have pitched the tide.
There it is. Jason Berkowitz. Thank you very much, Jason. Phenomenal storytelling. I've got feedback, but I'm going to hold my feedback and let the tide get after it. Vincenzo, you're up first. Who are you? What are you working on? Take 30 seconds. Let us know who you are, what you're working on, and let's give some feedback. We can be critical too. We need the tide to be. We know Jason's phenomenal, but we also we want to improve, right? So don't be afraid to be critical. Go ahead.
All right, thanks, Shawn.
I think we lost Vincenzo.
He was so moved by it that he froze.
I know he wanted to be critical, but he was like, I can't. I like Jason too much to give critical feedback.
Yep.
We'll come back to Vincenzo. Spencer, you're up. Go for it.
Jason, excellent job. Thank you so much for sharing. That was great. I enjoyed how you had a callback to your first statement right at the end. You told a whole story. You talked about what do I do, and what is my job, and how do I do it, and then like, okay, let's head back to what I started at. Is how do we get to that point now? And I think that was perfect. So Arrow Up, it's beyond compliance training. You set up individual training models for the actual steps of what my job is? Is that because for me there was a lot of compliance in there, but you're a full process. You're the entire package, correct?
So the reason there was a lot of compliance is because that's what we're really focused on, the moving product that we have. That what's absolutely amazing is people will literally be LinkedIn friends of mine. They're like, I'm looking for an anti-harassment course. Anyone know anybody? I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, right. So we're literally focused right now on that and moving towards the needle of making everybody safer and stronger. So that's our core focus. Yes, we do more than that in training and our custom content. Yes, the future of Arrow Up is out of the box. You turn it on and it's from day one training all the way up to offboarding, service, hospitality, and all of that. We're just not focused on pitching that as much right now because those are a little more one-off things. You're kind of into where we're going now. Do we get hired by companies that we're building them one-on-one training and service and hospitality? Absolutely. Just right now, we're really focused on the stuff that moves the needle of safety, compliance, and leadership development. But you're talking about where if you were sitting in our boardroom and our talks, do this a year from now.
Sounds good. I was asking because I obviously want to make it totally clear, and also I'm with what I do for a living. I'm putting together a technology report for a customer that involves trading platforms. So I think ArrowUp is going to sneakily find its way into that report if you don't mind me doing that for a customer in Ohio that is looking for is too busy to train the staff. They need to hire people with they already know what they're doing because they're too busy to find people. So they need something regimented. Is that,
Yeah.
should I move on from that, or is that?
No, it's absolutely great, and we'll let's talk offline because
Yeah.
I've got all of that ready to go from them because I've built training programs for so many different companies myself, right? I literally from Gucci Osteria to get them a Michelin star down to your mom and pop down. I've got full training programs out of the box. A lot of that is digitized already, and some of that we're digitizing over the next 3 to 6 months, helping different companies with that. So let's talk because you'll see what we've got. I didn't want to distract the group here, but
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
so let's talk offline. I love
Yeah,
it because it's literally coming down the pipeline.
Good, perfect, awesome, great job. Loved it. Loved the storytelling, and I loved great job on the slides, Mike, back there. Well done.
Awesome. Thanks, Spencer. Vincenzo, you're back up. Power Surge back. 30 seconds. Who are you?
Back. Sorry, Shawn.
Who are you? Who are you? What are you working on? And then let's give some feedback or questions to Mr. Jason Berkowitz of ArrowUp Training.
Yeah, sounds great. Vincenzo here, longtime restaurateur, just like many here on the show. Now I'm, doing a lot of restaurant tech investing, restaurant tech advising. So just love learning about all of these new solutions that are rolling out and solving real world problems. So with that, Jason, great job with the pitch today. I've got a couple questions for you, and I'll start off with maybe getting an understanding of what the integration ecosystem looks like with your platform. Are you integrating with payroll companies or food handling companies on a state-by-state basis? We could start there, and then I'll have an additional question as it relates to compliance.
It is part of the roadmap. So what we did was we launched our
That's a good
our
tech
app.
founder answer.
Yeah, we launched the app right as ChatGPT came out. And that was the app of the last 2 slides. We put 100 people on it, tried to break it, reiterated on it, got it going again, and then shut it down right now as we are tweaking it. And over the next 3 months, starting to build on it to get to the next launch of the manager operating system and everything out of the box. What's been great about that is for the last 3 years, we've licensed through third-party platforms to really figure out what the demand is and what's going on with everybody so that we can take that and incorporate that into ours. The difference also is this. Our platform is from, let's say, up to 20 units because there's such an opportunity there. And especially as you start to get into the captive compliance game, I mean, insurance, whereas the enterprise of the other companies, we're playing well with them, which they know. So yes, fortunately, the integrations and the API integrations and communications have gotten so much easier during this time that the goal is going to be with you when the team onboards through, let's say, your payroll provider, you pop up onto the screen. We're able to track and trigger when your compliance has been hit, anti-harassment, safety, or different things like that, and then when you're off the team, we'll hold the records on our end legally what we need to do, and you then you're taken off the system. The big thing with us in the future is your profile stays with us because legally we need to hold that information, and then as we're doing that, once you start to connect to other people, well, we can then pop back on and your certifications will pass along as well as anything else that you would like it to do. So there's a scoring that will start to build in the background for health insurance, for all these other things that start to play. That's the future, because that's one of the reasons we also started with compliance, is because legally we have to track that stuff and hold on to that stuff.
Okay, good to know. I guess, whenever you're ready to give us an update on that, it'd be great. Because I'm sure the ecosystem will definitely embrace you and the platform you've built. So,
Yeah, oops, sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, what's kind of fun is, and you saw it in the app, is we're starting to be the first stop because I've opened up so many different restaurants and I've got my critical path to opening and everything. by coming with us first, we're your first stop is you opening up the restaurant that's guiding you through the next steps, which then you're starting with us because we're answering those 3 questions at the end. What do I do next? How do I do it? And what's my feedback mechanism? Well, that's in pre-opening when you've got 4 people on and it expands, which then allows us to trigger into the payroll or whomever there. So we're positioning ourselves to somewhat be the first point that will then integrate with the right players who like to play well.
Okay. Yes. So my next question will be around compliance. So I understand that your system reduces insurance costs, right? But do you have any stats on how your training program actually reduces compliance claims? Because I think that'd be interesting for everyone to maybe learn about. And I'm sure you're probably learning something from all of the data that you're ingesting with your platform. So.
Yeah, what's interesting is you can ask this question to everybody who's actually doing the training on compliance, and it's almost as if, there's 2 things that are going on. One is you don't know the claim that didn't happen. It's a hard track record, but 2 things. One is you're either compliant or not compliant, right? In which case you're vulnerable to it. Then the second one, and so you're going to pick a course anyways. It's pick our course because it's built by operators and a better course. The other one is if the reason a lot of other states are doing it, aside from establishing the culture, is if somebody pushes a lawsuit to you and the first question is, did you train against this? And you can't answer yes, then you're automatically screwed. So I can't tell you a single company that I've asked that question to, and we all talk to each other, that's able to tell you the claims. Now on the safety stuff, we're tracking it now as we brought the app back, and what we are showing is absolutely you're having less injury if you're taking a photo of the 2 mats and showing that they're like this and not like this when somebody's walking into the kitchen. We're starting to show that you have the reduction absolutely in claims. And what's cool is one of our insurance partners, who's offering a discount through us out the gates, they do through the cameras, their AI viewing it through the cameras and being able to see how people are acting and how people are walking over those parts. So what's going on is this is why I'm excited about the future interface that we've been doing with, the small GIFs and memes. They're giving us their data and we're repopulating the training of the week for the leaders and showing them what to focus on. So they're saying, we've seen unsafe behavior going on, the way people are walking out of the walk-in. Can you please take the way that we communicate in a sort of cool, vibey way and give them that information so that they'll focus on this? And so they're having their data and we've connected with them of how to communicate it. And that is, to me, very exciting because it's also, and it's this one final point. This one of the reasons why we love working with supervisors is because you can train them regularly. They could take that 2 minutes every week. It's hard for the employees. And if you've built a regular rhythm of what to focus on, then it becomes natural as opposed to you're in trouble. We need to course correct you on something. And so what we found is moving regularly really moves the needle. So the 25% reduction, it looks like it's happening, just like OSHA proved. On the compliance claims, we don't know, but we know that they're protected when the claim happens. And fortunately, people aren't reaching out to us because they're like, sometimes they'll reach out and say, can you just give us the data that this person was trained?
Yeah, from what you're sharing, it sounds like you might want to explore opening up a discussion with Ecolab because they're focused on monitoring data related to motions centered around the dull, dangerous, and dirty motions of a restaurant, right? So from what you're saying and what I know about Ecolab, you may want to open up a discussion with them because they've gathered a lot of intel or data around that. So anyhow, nice job. Yeah.
Thanks.
Ecolab, if you're listening, please reach out to Jason Berkowitz. He's happy to have a discussion. I will
totally.
I will make that. Good stuff, Vincenzo. Ian Hawksworth, who are you? What are you working on? 30 seconds and give some critical feedback to Jason Berkowitz. How can he be better besides being just Jason?
Yeah, that's tough. Jason's awesome. We all love Jason. So Ian Hawksworth, I'm with EHS Recruiting Company. We focus on sourcing leaders for restaurants and hospitality companies, both in Southern California and nationwide. So, being in the recruiting business, um, the turnover numbers actually caught my attention naturally, and that $6,000, per manager, that adds up. It's great to have those types of figures. I was curious if you're in the process of putting together like any case studies with your existing clients to give like a total kind of savings overview, that might be a good, cost benefit analysis situation for them to really show the true value of what you're building.
Yeah, that's great. We are. We are. It's absolutely one of the reasons why we've picked back up to our tech, and to go deeper in it so we can take this whole next year and really focus on that. I mean, one of our selling points has been if if 7 shifts has proven, right, 49% leave, and then you've got this, right, and we're building on that. If we just saved one employee, just one, you've net positive, $3,500 in bringing us on board. And then the insurance company is actually going to discount more than what we're charging. So even by that coming on board, it's proving a plus plus. And so yes, and something else to talk about. I wanted to give it free through the insurance companies, and I got a lot of pushback on something, and I kind of agree with this, which is let the restaurants pay, but get the credits through the other way, so that they're still paying for something, it's still going through, but it still is absolutely incentivized through credits on the back end, and I like that.
Awesome. Thank you, Ian. Paul, welcome back to the show. Paul Molinari.
Thanks,
Mike
buddy.
is yours. Go for it.
Yeah, good to see you, Shawn. Great job, Jason. Happy Friday, everybody. The one thing that I loved what you said, Jay, was the constant gentle pressure. I love that. I don't know if you gotta put a TM after it or something, but that is a very, very cool feature, or a very cool yeah, let's call it a feature to your solution. So introduction. My name is Paul Molinari. I am the founder of Popcorn GTM. I am do marketing strategy, fractional CMO for 4 to 5 companies at a time. My current roster includes Curbit, Shifty, which is a training application in full disclosure, Live-Lytics, Cut and Dry, and I also work with the boys over at One Gold Consulting for sales needs. My question though for you, Jason, is more along the lines of day one readiness, right? So a big part of, and what I'm learning in working with my clients, is that so much is on the line when someone is ready to go. Like a warm welcome and an understanding of what a shift looks like beyond just shadowing somebody for the day. What kind of resources is Arrow providing these buyers, and providing them the tools that they can reference, as they go through their shift and their day?
That's great. And Spencer, that kind of gets into a little bit of what we can talk about and what we've built for other companies, and what I've been doing for 20 years, which is giving them that 5 to 7 day path of what that looks like. Directly what AeroUp's doing, Paul, is one of the things that why we're so focused on supervisors and leaders is really communicating to that general manager of day one, the difference of somebody walking in the door. And it's the difference of me walking in the door and being like, there's 2 different scenarios. One is, hi, and they're like, hey, I'm like, I'm here to start work. Cool. What's your name? Right? Versus, hi, I'm here. Oh, hey, you must be Jason. Yeah, great. John's in the back, and I'll let him know you're here. He wants to come out and spend some time with you. And just that difference of the way that I walked in, and all it came to, and I learned this when I was a GM, all it came down to was telling everybody, we got somebody starting today. This is their name. Please welcome them. They're part of the team. Grab me when they walk in the door. Then I come in. I'm coached because I've been coached by AeroUp and other people. And you're not coached by AeroUp. You're coached by we spend so much time gathering stories and information from other leaders. It's almost like a Reddit style that we share in video with people. An 18-year-old doesn't want to hear from me about how to make it less awkward in a conversation. They want to hear it from their peers, right? I love this story we got from somebody who's like, how do I tell somebody they're doing something wrong without saying you're doing something wrong? Well, this is what I do. So to other GMs too, as well, to say, let me tell you the difference of if you just how you treat this person when they walk in day one. And we've got these stories and we capture it and we continually, constant general pressure and whatnot, share them. So the answer is show up, give sourcing the community of knowing what's working the best today. Like we do compliance training. I do not think day one you should sit them down in front of a computer for 8 hours and go through compliance training. It's absolutely terrible, right? You've got to build the stuff into it. So day one readiness is making sure that the leader is ready to expect them and sit down with them, and then knows to say, let's just talk about your life. What's going on, right? Let me tell you what's important to you. Tell me about what's important to me. How do I set you up for success? What's going on? And that 90 days, the difference of turnover of 30% and all that moves the needle of,
Right.
I mean, it's like getting into, Ian and Vincenzo on that stuff. Those stats are there. And I know it firsthand from being somebody who my last role, I had 1,200 employees report up. It's really empowering people to have those tools. So that's how we're doing it. And then you got to track it. You got to track that it gets done. Accountability. And people have heard me say this. You want to build culture? Checklists are mightier than trust falls.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
sorry.
Yeah,
That is how you build
great.
culture.
Great stuff.
That's
Thank
a
you,
good
Jason.
line. You need to use that line more. I like that.
Checklists are mightier than trust falls.
Checklists. You hit home with an industry word that is, and obviously trust falls. You need to use that more. Elizabeth
Yeah,
Dawson. But
and
before
not just
Jason goes,
checklists,
can you make a GIF of it's on the product roadmap? Because if you knew how many times I heard that, and everyone that knows tech companies, Paul's laughing, Vincenzo's laughing, it's on the product roadmap, is in every boardroom, every Slack channel. It's a customer giving feedback and saying, yeah, you should build this or you should fix this. And like, when is it coming out? It's on the product roadmap.
It's on the roadmap.
I'd be shocked if there isn't a gift already, if there isn't a library of gifts.
I like
It's
it.
better than we can do that, which a lot of people have done and they don't, and it's vapor, what they call it in the tech world, and I hate that.
Yeah. Oh, that's so many good things here, Jason, and so clear. One thing before I get into it is the emotional part of your sharing. Like there are a couple of moments where I felt what you were sharing, and so leaning into that because a lot of these people that you're pitching to, talking to, have started like you started with Burger King, but the what you were feeling at that moment, or like even the part where you're talking about the educating people on what the actions that they're taking are the reactions they're causing in other people, what they are feeling in that moment. And so anyway, I just thought that part was really powerful. And in talking about that, I do love the minimum effective dose. And I was like, take your meds. Minimum effective dose. Anyway,
that's
so
great.
I think that's a great one too. So my name's Elizabeth Doss, and like Jason mentioned, I love talking about gifts and how you could really harness thought leadership. Like Jason, I'm over here like, ooh, with how you guys are implementing this into it, because again, it's that loopable piece of content that really drives home the point, and then you have the visuals along with it that get in there that like, oh, okay. And then I love that the 2 minutes a day or 2 minutes a week, like that training that's sent, and then it can trickle down into, hey guys, I just want to, because like you said, you can't go through the whole thing every day when you're meeting with everybody, but you can start to trickle in these little important, things. And so I have an unusual, Jason and I have talked about this a little bit before. stance on this. And so this is where my question is kind of coming from. But my husband for 20 years worked at a law firm. It was the third largest labor and employment law firm. And his job was compliance training and creating these learning management systems for companies, big companies, names that you would recognize that I'm not allowed to say because of NDAs and other things that he signed. I don't know if I'm included in that. Does that work that way? I don't know. But but just
Probably.
yeah, but just saying that these training sessions are huge. And we've talked about this before, that people dread these training times. And so one thing I love about what you're doing is making it accessible, especially for the demographic that are stepping into restaurants and speaking their language through skit, through GIF, through meme, through understanding, and even the collecting of ideas from the insurance company to say, okay, this is the problem. How can we have a conversation with it that's memorable to our audiences? And so I think that obviously is incredible. I would just love, because you touched on it, because especially one thing I do know about the compliance side of things is every state, every country, every place has its different compliance things. And so I know that when California implemented their compliance things, like there were people scrambling to have something in place, because I think that that businesses were going to be fined if they didn't have these things in place. And so having this in the box training for them, and so other states may follow. And so I do love that part of it. So I guess I'm sorry, I'm waffling over here. I heard Scott Turner say that on his podcast. I'm waffling, but the idea of are you all aiming for the highest level of compliance so that it meets the standards of, because to me, California has like the highest standards for compliance, and then the rest of the country anyway, especially for locations that have multiple locations. I'm going to stop talking now and hand it back to you. That's my question.
Yes. The short answer is yes. And California is the strictest. I mean, you start with a 2-hour anti-harassment training. And the reason we're starting with compliance in a box in California is by covering all of this, we're just tweaking things as we move to different states. The idea is that you don't have to think about it. You just know that if everyone's on this platform, you're covered. We even so not just a little thing that says, in California, you have to have the ability for everyone to report anonymously. Well, there it is, right before you sign in, and you've got it. It's on tablet, it's a web app, it's anything you need. Right before you sign in, you can provide feedback so it's anonymous. I2P2, which are things you have to worry about, injury and illness prevention plan forms. It's on top of there. The Josh not his head, he knows about that. Accident, be able to fill out reports, all that stuff. The idea is, it's sort of that like, oh crap part where you just go to if you have a question or need anything that meets that.
It's called
we're covering that.
An oh shit binder is what we call it.
Yeah, you have your oh shit binder, and you call it a Bible, the SOP. So what we're taking is the SOPs and feeding it through. And now what the future is, what's absolutely great, is that you can aggregate this data, ask it a question, and get the answer that you need through the interface in the most simplest form possible, because you've scraped whatever you need. And so we're starting to train on even our favorite and our employment attorney partners on how they're training it inside of there, so that we can have enclosed answers to take care of that, which will then transfer state by state, jurisdiction by jurisdiction. So that's absolutely it. There are things we don't touch yet that we're building into it now, so that it just becomes this one-stop shop. But the way that it works is that you want compliance to be the Trojan horse, though, for all these other things that you're folding into it. So the reason insurance companies are happy partnering with us is because on the front end, we're talking about turnover, Ian. We're talking about soft skills. We're talking about things that they get excited to talk about. What's absolutely awesome is that by solving the problems for restaurants that they want to talk about, at the same thing, you're solving the problems that insurance companies care about that the restaurants don't want to talk about.
Good.
They don't care about the risk and things like that. They do. It's the same question. And it's the same answer. And here's what's great. Checklist, when you think about it, checklist sucks. But an engagement opportunity, take a photo, answer a question, put the why. If you saw on our thing there, you had a little photo, you've got a GIF that moves, you've got something, so it feels a little bit more sexy and interactive, that it's a narrative and a path less than a command and control. Anytime we can empower people and guide, and then it can adapt based on how you're responding, based on how we need to feed it, so you're flowing with it. That can change based on jurisdictions as well.
Awesome stuff.
Awesome.
Joe, you're up. 30 seconds. Who are you? What are you working on? And what's your feedback for Jason Berkowitz and Arrow Up Training? His pitch.
Yeah, thanks so much. Great job, Jason. Funny story, couple things. So Joe here. I'm actually focused and working on FS Tech, going to FS Tech next week. So
Awesome.
anyone there, feel free to swing by and say what's up. We got a booth and doing a lot of
Who's
cool
going to
stuff.
Paul, you'll be there?
Paul?
Awesome. Okay,
Ian?
we got
I will see
Paul,
you there.
Joe.
Okay.
Joe will be
Okay.
there. Matt from Clear Cogs, one of our Rising
Okay.
Tide community members,
Yep.
will be there. Yeah,
Good friend, good guy.
Yeah, anybody that's
Troy's
going to
everywhere.
FS Tech that's looking for connections, feel free to send us a message on Slack, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. We will connect you to the right people at FS Tech. But go ahead, Joe.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Jason, funny story. So I actually helped launch a safety service company out of Arizona. And so when you start talking about a lot of things, I2P2, all these types of different topics, funny enough, I didn't spend much time in the restaurant space. So it was really, it brought back some old memories, I would say, and some old conversations. And I'll be honest with you, I oversaw a sales department, but the common objections I would get from business owners is like, I got that thing somewhere, or yeah, I got that covered, or I'm not too worried about that, And so I think it'd be interesting to hear from you, like how serious compliance is with OSHA, and like I think, of course, people that have owned businesses know maybe, but I think it's important to understand like how valuable and important it is to be compliant. And I think maintenance and all those other things are important. I'd love to hear your perspective on how real OSHA is and how severe they can be.
Yeah. I'm spending very little time trying to convince somebody that they should be afraid of something that they're not necessarily afraid of, because there's so many people that are recognizing it at a particular point. And so OSHA is not the one that's coming down and getting you, right? Very little. I mean, you've got the fines that are 50,000 each on average of OSHA. It's your team members who are grabbing the local lawyer and coming after you. And
Yeah.
so the fear, it's less of even the EEOC, employment opportunity. It's more the local union. It's more the local, it's the local lawyers that are waiting outside and saying, hey, I noticed that you got cut or something, or whatever's going on, or outside emergency rooms or different things, and saying, can you track that you were trained in person on this stuff? It's really the opportunists that are using this more so than OSHA showing up at your door being a problem. That's where we're helping with penalties and all that, and that's kind of where we're seeing it, and that's part of where I really want to empower companies. Like that's almost why I really care so much about this manager operating system is,
Yeah.
let's take ADA compliance, for instance.
Mhm.
Such an important thing. Of course, everybody wants to make sure that it's accessible, that you've got a ramp, that everything's there. That's not the problem. The problem is there are loopholes in laws that the lawyers you have this lawsuit abuse that's going on where the hook in the bathroom was 1 inch off, or you didn't know about your website about accessibility. And it's not saying, hey, can we give us 30 days to fix this? That's
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
what that's doing is that's crushing small business in Main Street in ways that it's just breaking my heart. And so the idea is you want to give them this information that they can do this and help with it. So the same thing goes on safety. If you just put this in the path of what do I do next, and it answers it for them, and you have the resources there, and you get them to think about, you know what, I trained the cook on why it's important to use an oven mitt, a 20-year-old cook, which by the way is a difficult thing because you don't know, you're going to train them, but it's like, well, Did they not feel cool using it? Right? You've trained them. Well, what's the system to make sure that when the buzzer goes off, the mitt's there? And so you kind of don't, you just put it in place of what they do next. And that's how I solve it. Less convincing of that. And then you're showing them that you're protecting them. But really, I'm not focused on OSHA coming in. I'm protecting them from lawsuits. And now you're getting back to, who cares? The insurance company cares. The insurance company doesn't care about compliance. That's the front end. It's not a compliance, it's a risk reducer. That's why. And so when does the restaurant owner care? The restaurant owner cares only because I've said, we're working on your turnover. We're giving you the tools you need to limit, costs. Oh, and by the way, we just got you a reduction on your insurance. If you just keep this one checklist going every week, you're paying less. And so it's incentivization on it.
Last one for you. Where does AI play a role in this? I would love to hear your opinion on that. Like where, I'd just like to hear your opinion on where AI plays a role in compliance and safety and things like that.
Yeah. So I love it. Here's where I think. And this was one of the reasons why I shut down my app right when ChatGPT came out, worked on a bunch of different things. And now I feel comfortable that it's time to pick it back up and bring it back into the mix.
Very smart, by the way. Very smart, by the way. Like very smart. I come from the development world and like the whole ChatGPT thing has changed it. So props to you, Jason, for being a smart business owner and not getting stuck in a pile
chasing it. I think because we're not necessarily a tech company, we're solutions, we're a brand, right? And our moat is you're coming on board with a brand and you're coming on board with me. So we're going to adapt and change. We're going to use other tools. We're going to mix tools. It's going to be ours. But people just want to know, do I trust you? And just tell me what to do next. I know this from being in the game. It's all about minimizing the noise. So if we're the answer, that will shift and change. And I've tried to use other platforms, and I spent these last couple of years really building good distribution networks with other tech partners and LMS partners that are pushing us out to some of the biggest brands in the world that I absolutely love. I mean, we're global, so it's fantastic. That the reason that we're going back to our own is because everyone has their own priority. And for smaller operators, I see that we can get back into the game and it's easier to code. So to answer AI, I still don't love AI building courses. I think it can help in a particular way, but if you're building a course that's sort of translating for 100 different languages, you're missing the impact of 2 major languages or something like that, right? So we will leverage AI tools to build the content, VOs and different things and make it smarter, but I still like building this. So that's now. On the tech side of it, there's a couple different things. One is there's the agentic system, which I've always seen years ago, which is saying, how do you learn? Let me take this information and tweak how I'm giving you the next follow-up. So should it be a course? Should it be a checklist? Do you like things to be more colorful, more flowery, more direct? We're able to tweak that and to start to change it and adapt it to the individual. So that is happening in an agentic form where that's your guide. Goes back to the question of Paul, day one. In-person, digital mix, the guide that gets you going. The ability to source all of the training information and put it as just in time through a chat, going back to I don't think courses are necessarily the big future. It's again, what do I do next? How do I do it? What's a feedback loop to show that it's done? That's where we're going. So the ability to ask a question and either populate to a point in the course of like, oh, this is the recipe of how I made this. Oh, this is the answer of how I respond to somebody who showed up late. You can either get it in a Word format, text format, or you can go to that point in the course and see it. That's rad, and we're moving. And then one other point is, like I said, partnering with these insurance companies that they're doing things where you're able to see safe behavior or not safe behavior, give that information to us, and then we populate whatever that minimum effective dose is in the future. That I absolutely love. So what we're doing with AI is aggregating the information and simplifying how we're communicating what you do next. That's how you win. It's just literally, as a restaurant operator, I'm in charge of this. It's Monday morning. This little thing tells me to do this next, and I've got support if I need it, and I've got a feedback mechanism. That's it. And then in the background, we're all working together and aggregating the data. So hopefully that helps. That's why I'm excited. And I think it's easier to code it into, back to Vincenzo's point of,
Yeah.
working well with the API of other people, the right
Mhm.
payroll providers and different people like that. So hopefully that wasn't too long of an answer, but it's very exciting and it's simple. At the end of the day, just simplify the noise. Give me the answer, because I know if I'm with you, I trust what you're going to tell me.
Yeah. That's good,
That's our
Jason.
mode.
That's
Awesome.
good. That's real good. Thank you.
Really quick, Joe, I love your question, and Jason, and you said this, but I'm just going to regurgitate it in my own language. Like, so are you saying that somebody, if they run into a situation or a problem, can type in the problem that they're facing potentially into this what you're talking about, the AI side of things, and it could give them pointing towards the training, or give them solutions of here's what to do next, and here's how you should do it, and then how do you check up to make sure that it was actually done. But they could actually ask the question about, because I feel like in the moment, like you were saying at the beginning, of if you're just putting out fires, then you never get to actually empowering people from the get-go. And so I was just curious, is that what you mean? That one of the ways that the AI side of things could work is this library of this happened, and it being able to say, well, it sounds like this, and here's some ways to handle it. I don't know. That's the way I
That's
use
exactly it.
ChatGPT.
That's exactly it. And so you want to be careful though. And so we use it as a trained on an enclosed system, so that it's not, we're minimizing the hallucinating and all this type of stuff. On the app, 4 years ago, you went to a help section, and if you click on this thing, it goes to help, and you ask a question, and it drops down all the things that, like FAQs that we built. Well, now we're just taking that, adding all of the other stories and scenarios and populating it into it. But here's what's great. We're not just getting what we put in the data. We're getting the data from all the other companies out there that are sharing with us and telling us, this happened, this is how I solved it, and here you go. Because this is real-time stuff. One of the most important things, during the pandemic, we became a partner to Santa Monica. And we became the tech partner to Santa Monica that helped all small businesses be able to understand, how do I navigate, and how do I show that I'm actually the one who's navigating, so I can get a seal saying that I'm a safe business. What that showed us is that you've got to connect everybody together in a simplified platform and portal. It looks like Apple TV now. We launched it as Apple TV. If you saw the designs, it's great. What I showed. We're even simplifying that more to say, or you can have just the direct chat interface if you would like, and go as you'd like to go. So 100%, that's how we're doing it. But we're also a media company, which we all love to talk about. So as we continually populate or capture stories every week, if you want to turn it on, we're giving you what's going on. We're giving you the update. We're giving you the constant general pressure, which also goes into the tracking of the library that says, how do I handle this? Because you know what? I'm going to tell you something else real quickly is Paga lawsuit, right? You ask so many managers in California, is it 4 hours or 5 hours they got to take a break? You just forget that stuff. So Vincenzo, back to sort of the stats, California just said, if you train this and you document that you've trained this, if a lawsuit's to arise, you've done one of the things needed to lower their penalties by 85%. That's being challenged in court. We're seeing what's happening right with the legal. So we're just saying, cool, let's do it. But because you forget constant general pressure, we'll feed that little answer to you over and over again, so that you've got it on the front of your mind when you need it, tip of your thoughts, but you can also search and get it if you have to.
Awesome.
Real quick, Jason, do we have a minute, Shawn? I want to ask one last question, if I could.
We have a minute. Yeah, go for it.
All right, Jason.
One last
So
question. Let's give Jason, go for it, and then
One last
I'll give my feedback, and then we'll wrap this up and we'll get out. So go for it.
all right, cool. So with everything I'm hearing here, does the future look like your platform might use some type of gamified approach as it relates to this constant gentle pressure, and how you might actually onboard someone as it relates to compliance and actually get them to complete it in a timely manner? Are you thinking about gamifying it and rewarding the employees that do it in a timely manner, maybe giving them a gift card or something like that, right? Because I think that would be wise of you, but I'd like to hear from you, right?
Yes. And so the one screen that you saw kind of at the front was where if you wanted to turn it on and you had multiple locations, you pin safety leads against safety leads based on what they've completed or not completed, because legally you need one in each store. So you would deem somebody in each store, they get scored on based on what you've completed, and then they themselves, you can see your score against each other. So with the gamification, we didn't get so much in the sense of like playing the game inside of it, but we wanted to show a feedback mechanism. Now, what's cool is you've got people like Prize, right? A great company out there that incentivizes and give rewards to people. We partner with them, or we are going to. You partner with them, where we'll give them the data that then triggers what they do to give them that incentivization. So yeah, that comes back to the accountability of score what you want to score, and absolutely right. However we incentivize, and you absolutely need that for line level. We're seeing, right, and it's great, and you can do it. But what's cool is there's companies that are doing it, and we're just capturing the data and sharing with them so that they can incentivize where they can. We're going to see where
Yeah.
it goes, but
Yeah.
100%. That's how we, you know, positive reinforcement. I feel comfortable in what I'm doing, and if there's an incentivization or gamification, I mean, Ovation Zach said it. You want to number one thing to motivate people, give them $100 bill. Don't, not 50,
Yeah.
not 75, not this. Okay. Somebody else has
Yeah.
proven that. We are really good at taking what somebody needs to know next and simplifying that into the smallest minimum effective dose to give them that information, track it. Then if insurance wants to incentivize, if your owners want to incentivize, we're just staying focused on what we do, which is communicating the information in a way that we've gotten really good at, because we started with the most heaviest thing in the world, compliance, right?
So my feedback, Jason, I'll make it quick. The truth vibrates the fastest. Out of your whole pitch, the thing that you spoke about was you being uncomfortable with the sous chef. The sous chef sharing something with you that made you uncomfortable. And I don't know how you lean on that, because it's not that I don't appreciate the origin story, because I love the origin story, but like, if there's something that we can all agree on as an industry, it's that no one wants to talk about compliance. It's a dirty secret in the restaurant business, is that people feel uncomfortable. And we don't want people to feel uncomfortable because we're in hospitality. But if we're all honest, why did a movie like The Waiting, why did that resonate so much with our industry? Because those dirty jokes happen front of the house, back of the house. And if you can lead the pitch with that uncomfortability, and like, is it uncomfortable for every restaurant organization? You've run, the biggest groups in the world. You're working with the biggest groups in the world. Like, we all want to be compliant, but how do we be compliant? Well, these are the tools, the modern tools, the GIFs, the videos, the AI side of like, how can you actually start to implement this kind of stuff and make it not so much of a dirty secret, but something that's more proactive and something that, we can all be proud of in our industry. That's
I like
my
it.
feedback.
Yeah. And that story just came to me this week. I just remembered it. Right. And so there's so many of them. So thank you.
All right, let's do tip, takeaway, homework assignment. Thank you guys for watching. If you have a restaurant technology brand and you want to be on Pitch the Tide, thank you, Jason, for stepping up. We are grateful to have you in the community, to have the courage to continue to show up and not only pitch the tide, but be a shark on the tide. Please email us, podcast@calibbq.media. Every Friday we're doing these shows. We also have shows on Wednesday, live shows, topical based. Elizabeth, go ahead, kick us off. Tip, takeaway, homework assignment.
Pushing the buttons. I want to reiterate what you just said, Shawn, because that was the part I was trying to get to. Jason, when you shared the story about being uncomfortable, it immediately brought me back to my own uncomfortable moment and how I didn't know how to handle it. And I didn't want to get anybody in trouble. And and so it's all of those things. And so I think that what Shawn's saying, leaning into the truth resonates fastest. Anyway, I thought that was really fascinating. Anyway, back to you, Shawn.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And reminder, Elizabeth's next Friday. So please come out, support her. She supports this community. Please come give her feedback on her pitch. Vincenzo, you're up. Go for it.
Tip takeaway homework assignment. Jason, I thought you did an amazing job just instantly connecting with restaurant type people with that initial opening story. So nice job.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, Vincenzo. Joe, go for it.
It's not about OSHA. It's about the lawyer on the billboard.
There you go. It's about it. Yeah, driving through LA. I mean, I think every billboard in Los Angeles is an attorney in a law firm.
It's so true.
And
Like,
Las Vegas. I'll include Las Vegas. I don't know. In Phoenix, is it the same way?
Oh, it's the same way. It's crazy. Like, billboard marketing is dead. If you're a personal injury.
Not if you're a personal injury attorney. Definitely not. Yeah,
So good, Jason.
Good stuff, Joe.
Great job,
Go for it. Go for it, Ian.
Homework assignment. So one thing I'm working on is a preferred vendor list. So if anyone from Pitch the Tide wants to get on our preferred vendor list, please reach out to me, and I'd be happy to add you to that, because we want to provide our clients with the best of the best.
Awesome. Thanks again to Mike Biseglia, our producer. Jason, take us away. What's your final thoughts? How can our show be better? You have now been both a judge and a guest. So how can we make this better for everybody, our audience? Go for it.
Well, I think also just putting everybody low at the bottom was really good, Mike. I know we talked about clearing the stage, but to see reactions is important for somebody talking. So that's important. And I think the size of everybody's thumbnails was key and great. So that's really great. I think for anybody else who's considering doing this or not, look, I put this proposal together. I don't talk this way to potential restaurant business. They reach out, or we reach out or something, and I share a demo and we talk about it. There's no, let me show you this presentation. Yeah. So really, this is something I'm probably not doing again in that sense capacity. But what's amazing about it is I had to step outside the framework, simplify it, put it into some sort of visual that I can communicate. Now, there is so much more that you're going to see me talking about on LinkedIn that's coming. Wait till I tell you what's coming next. And I've made those slides and I got rid of those slides.
Yeah.
Right. Wait till you see wearrowup.com, what's coming out next. You know what? Wasn't the time to talk about it. So really being able to do this, streamline the focus, I think is helpful. So for anybody, do it even for that, to get out of yourself and come back and look at it from a different perspective.
Jason Berkowitz, we appreciate you as always. Thank you guys for watching. Please share it. Please let people know. If you're going to FS Tech, let us know. We will connect you with the heroes that will be there on the ground. As always, we'll see you guys next week. Stay curious, get involved. Basketball. Thank you, Jason Berkowitz. Arrow Up Training. Check them out.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining.